Welcome to Sprinkle TLC's channel. Today we're going to talk about finding your inner layers. So, as many of you know, as females, we have so many layers. We're so intricate, we're such complicated women. And, a lot of times that gets taken for granted, or we're so vulnerable because of the fact that we give so much to so many people. Today we're going to put a lot of our layers on this canvas. The goal is, after a few weeks, it's going to emerge into something really beautiful that you can hang in your home or just look back and reflect on whenever you're feeling anxiety or feeling some negative emotions. First, we're going to start off with what are our tools for creating this. So, first thing you see here is this beautiful 16 by 20 canvas. On this canvas is where you're going to put it all out. Next, I have a piece of Palo Santo wood. I like to cleanse the area. I do this even when I'm not creating because, one, I love the smell, but it's also good for clearing energy, lifting your spirits. And then I also decided, you know what? In keeping with lifting our spirits, why not have some crystals? So I have my clear quartz, which is a good grounding crystal. It's basically your go-to crystal. So you can see it right here. And it comes in different sizes. This is not tumbled, it's raw. I love it. Sometimes I put it in my shirt when I feel a little bit anxiety, nervousness. The reason it's called your go-to crystal is because when in doubt and not knowing what crystal to use, you can always go to your clear quartz crystal. The other thing I have is my selenite wand. This selenite wand, I just love it. I do everything with it. It's good for inflammation. It's good for clearing energy. Some days after work, you just feel anxiety, you feel frustrated. What I do is I take my wand and I basically just, scan myself with it, my entire body. And it's really good for just healing and calmness. I kind of feel like it's similar to drinking a nice warm cup of tea after a long day. Like you do it. I sit on the floor with it sometimes watching TV and just keep it on my lap. It's my baby. So what I'm going to do first is just scan my wand. Try to release some all negative energy around me, but also invoke some positive energy. Scan my hands, clear any energy, allow my hands to move freely. This is really helpful. Another crystal, which is like my utmost favorite crystal, and this is my bag of crystals, by the way. We'll go through these some other day. But this is the crystal of all crystals for me. I don't know why. I suffer a lot with my throat. So when I suffer with my throat, it tends to be linked to my throat chakra. And I've noticed that a lot of times it's either I haven't spoken up enough, or I've had an argument, I haven't communicated clearly. So this has really been my go-to crystal for healing. Also, I'm not a good traveler, so when I fly, I get very nervous on planes. And it's also been my crystal for calling on, sending me those strengthening vibrations. So I just love it. It's for creativity, intuition, you name it. So coupled with my clear quartz, these are my two go-to crystals. I have many more that I use depending on what I need it for, but these are the two that I use. So let's jump right in. As I said, I have my Palo Santo wood, which it's just the best. I also have some sage here too, and you're free to use that as well. Today, I think I'm just gonna use my Palo Santo. I light it up and then I shake it a little bit, as you can see, and then I just wand it around, get the right energy, take it in. I love it. I just let it burn while I'm painting. All right, so some more of my tools for painting. I have my spray water bottle. I have some clear gesso here. Clear gesso is a primer. Think of it as when you're painting a house, you want to prime the walls first so that the paint really sticks and you get the vibrant colors. That's what clear gesso does. I have my clear gesso, and I have a plethora of paintbrushes. I won't go into the different sizes. I think it's more important to just use what's calling to you. This is really about intuition and just picking up the colors that call to you, picking up the brushes that call to you. And I use a cheap form of a painting palette. I use a styrofoam plate. Simple, right? All right, so let's jump right in. So firstly, I'm going to spray my canvas. And why am I spraying it? Well, I spray it because it helps with spreading the paint on the canvas. Like I said, I've been suffering with my throat lately, so I think I'm going to focus a lot on blues today, a lot on my throat chakra. So I do have some favorite paints that I use, like the golden paints are really good, and the Liquitex paints are really good. But in playing around too, I tend to buy just like store brand, go to Walmart or EC or any of these, and buy the cheap acrylic paints as well. You know, if you're a beginner, I recommend using the cheaper paints. As you get bigger, as you get more into painting and you get more skilled, if you want, you know, you can go to your Goldens and your Liquitex, or even if you're not and you just like vibrancy and you want to continue along that path and you know this is something for you, just jump right in. All right, so let's hope I have some paint. So we're back. We had some technical difficulties, but I'm back now. And I know my canvas looks a little different. However, let's jump right back into it. So basically what we're doing now is we're creating our first layer. What I've done is made sure to have some old magazines. And I have some tissue paper. And basically I'm just Mod Podging it onto the canvas. And what that is, I have Mod Podge right here. Or you can have acrylic glue or some sort of medium to help stick this paper onto the canvas. And I'm just tearing it. There's no pattern that I'm following. You know, remember I said that I wanted to focus on my blues, so that's why my paper is blue. But this gives the canvas an added layer of texture, which I love on my paintings. And again, like I said, we're focusing on layers, right? So my first layer, when I think about myself, is a mishmash of pieces, bits and pieces coming together sometimes. You know, sometimes it's perfect, sometimes it's not. At the end of the day, you know, I always turn out okay, right? So basically you have to trust the process. Trust that even if you're laying down this paper in any crazy way, it's all going to turn out well. Trust the process. So that's part of what layering is. Trusting the process, believing in yourself, believing in the fact that, yes, I may not be an artist, but you know what? I'm creating, I'm expressing myself, I'm letting go. So these are the few things we focus on when we're creating layers, because that's what having layers is all about, right? I mean, think about it. You're a woman, or so, you know, I should not even just say a woman, but some men are probably watching this too. But you're an individual, you know, a complex individual full of many layers. Sometimes you're perfect, sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad. Sometimes you're just undefined, you know. There's no way of explaining what you're feeling at that present moment in time. And that's what layers are. Layers represent the different emotions that we go through, the different personalities that we go through, you know, the different points in our life that we go through. And it's a great way of kind of focusing on where you are in your life right now, because maybe the universe is telling you something, or there's a message that you were meant to receive. So in just taking the time out to create like this, you know, you're opening your eyes to something that you probably were not able to see because you were just too busy focusing on the world and not yourself. So I'm almost done creating this layer. I'm already excited about it because you just never know what's going to come out of it, right? And for me, that's my favorite part of layering. You never know how this project is going to turn out. So as you can see, I put some Mod Podge on the paper, turned it upside down, And then I layer another, that's my daughter in the background, sorry. Then I layer another layer, I put on another layer of Mod Podge on top of it so that I make sure it fully sticks. You know, one of the things you shouldn't forget, don't forget your edges. Females, you know what I'm talking about. We never forget our edges, right? So don't forget the edges of your canvas because it needs love too. So you put down some Mod Podge on it, you know? And I know this might be a distraction, hearing my daughter in the background, but you know what? We're focusing on layers. And since we're focusing on layers, part of my layer is being a mom. You know, this video is not for everyone. Some of you may not like the fact that there's all this background, you know, there's all this noise in the background. And some of you may come to appreciate it because it makes you realize that, hey, I have a busy life. I have kids, I have a job, and I can still find the time to create. The moment doesn't have to be perfect. And I will say that this is intentional for me. Could I move to a quieter spot to do this? Absolutely. Could I ask for help and ask my husband to watch my daughter? Absolutely. But my kids are my motivation and my inspiration, so I choose not to. Sometimes some of my videos will be quiet, but there will be other days when my videos aren't quiet, and that's intentional as well. So I hope this motivates you to pick up a paintbrush, grab some Mod Podge, grab a canvas or a white piece of watercolor paper. I prefer watercolor paper over acrylic because it's heavier. And just jump right in. Let's start painting. Let's start creating. Your body, your mind, your well-being depends on it. I promise you, I will not disappoint. You will not be disappointed with whatever you create, because at the end of the day, you're creating feeling. You're expressing yourself. So whatever you create is what you're feeling. There's no judgment here. There's no right or wrong. It's just about creating. Notice something? Not intentional, but my sodalite crystal, which is my favorite, like I said in the earlier video, matches my tissue paper. Like I said, I'm focusing on blues today. What's your favorite color? Leave a note behind, leave a message below. Let us know. As always, tell your friends about us, subscribe, and tune into part 3 of this video where we jump into our second layer. So far, I hope you're excited because I'm very excited to share with you my layers, you know, and this is the layer for this week. Who knows? Next week's layer might be totally different. I might be focusing on yellows, you know, so I'm going to sign off for a quick bit and I'll be right back. Hope you're enjoying it. I'm back because I'm enjoying you. So we're jumping into our second layer. As you can see, I've started without you. There's white on our canvas. Basically, it's this, our gesso, which we spoke about earlier, and it's our primer before we put on the paint. There's also black gesso, but I like white gesso because it's almost like a fresh wash. White is basically representative of purity, cleanliness, and we're basically peeling back the layers, but in some of our layers, there is a layer of cleanliness, right, and purity. So this is basically why I'm starting off with this, in addition to the fact that it helps with laying down the paint. So I have some here that I had in a bottle that I am going to continue to put layers on. As you can see, and as you can hear, I should say, you will hear my daughter in the background. She's 1. And again, this is very intentional. I know not many people, I shouldn't say not many, but some of you may not like the noise in the background. However, for some of you, you may come to appreciate it because it reminds you of your household. There's never really a dull moment, and while you may not be able to escape from your family and the noise, you can temporarily escape onto your canvas, right? And Who knows, you might even inspire someone in your house to create the same way. So I'm in the process of, adding my second layer, and we will be back. Now that we have this beautiful canvas, it looks a little bit like what we started with, right? It's all white, except for the fact that now there's some texture. You can see some of the papers that we stuck on earlier, and it's a little rough in certain areas. Even to the feel, you can feel the bumpiness in it, which again, the whole theme of this is layers. In our layers, there are bumpy times, right? We have our bumpy, rough moments, our rocky moments, and we have our smooth moments. So again, when working on your canvas, think of it as therapy. I'm not a therapist. I am an art life coach. So basically, I'm giving you the tools, focus on how you can remove negative emotions and how you can improve on your personal well-being. So what are we going to put on this beautiful canvas right now? Before we throw paint on it, why not use this as a beautiful surface to start writing some of your emotions and your feelings? So since we're focusing on the color blue, I'm focused on it, I want you to take your canvas, whether it's blue, red, and divide it, red or yellow, divide it into 4. Before painting over this canvas, let's put some emotion into it. Let's put some layers of what we've been going through for the week. You may have had a great week. You may have had a tough week. We're going to write some words in each quadrant. So on your upper left, I want you to put the letter S. On the right, you put W. The bottom left, you put O. And the bottom right, you put T. So S stands for struggle. Have you been dealing with any struggles lately? Go ahead and write down any words that come to mind that make you think of how you've been struggling. But not only how you've been struggling, what are your strengths? And put one more, strength in a struggle. My strength is in people. I'm a good listener. I struggle taking my own advice. Okay, so these are my strengths and my struggles. Now W, I want you to look at it and I want you to put winning and weakness. Now, some of the things may very well overlap, and that's okay. But in what areas do you feel like you're winning? Either it's been this week, this year, this lifetime. Where do you feel you're winning? For me personally, I think I'm winning in the family. This year, I think in taking care of myself. And again, my weakness is, while I am winning and taking care of myself, I still think my weakness is self-doubt. There are days, things are not working out the way you plan, and instead of figuring out, well, what do I need to do to improve it, the first person I think about is myself. I think about what did I do wrong, and sometimes it's not you, it's external factors, right? Now that we've done we've done S, we've done W, let's go to O's. O stands for opportunity. Oh, I can't even spell opportunity. Opportunity. Now we go to O. O stands for opportunity. Are there any opportunities in your life where you feel it can make you more successful or room for improvement? I think in my life coaching business, I have an opportunity to help others empower myself and others. And an opportunity to grow. Of course, your list for any of these sections could go on and on, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to leave these. Now T. In T, let's put the word threat and trust. And you can start with either threat or trust. Who do you trust in your life? For me, it's my husband, my kids, myself. And what do you find is a threat? Sometimes my threat is my current full-time job. And I say that not because I hate my job, but because it comes in the way of my passion. Now this in itself is very healing, because you can take a step back and you can stop here for today if you want, and use this week just to keep reflecting on it as to the areas that you want to improve, and then also reminding yourself of the strong areas that you have that can help uplift you when you're feeling down. Our next layer, when we come back, will be covering this up and creating a new slate. So we're back. And again, like we said, we're dealing with the color blue. So here are all my blues. I have a lot more. And we're just going to go to town with these blues. We're going to mix them sometimes with white, sometimes with black, get different shades of blue. But we're just basically focusing on blue. I think I need a lot of blue because I can feel my throat hurting. I feel a little sensitivity in this area. And I know where it came from. Funny enough, I had a meeting yesterday for work, and I got a little frustrated, and I think my communication skills at that point were not that great, and immediately I felt my throat hurting me. So I know this is an area I need to heal. So I'm just gonna get right to it. I have my very expensive paint palette, my styrofoam paint, and I'm gonna put some different shades of blue on. So bear with me for a second. Yummy, yummy blues, some dark blues, some teals, some baby blue. And I'm going to put some black on my palette. Black is old. I've had this black for some time. And again, you can use white. I like using gesso for my white because of its richness. But you can just use regular white paint as well. And now we're going to go ahead and paint. One of the things I always have next to me is a cloth, so that when I'm taking out my brush and it has excess water, I can wipe it. So these are the colors that I have. Like I said, we don't have any pattern that we're following. We're not overthinking the process. We're just releasing whatever your mind tells you to touch, you touch. Me, I like this color. I'm gonna go with this. I'm just gonna go brush some here, probably dip into some of the light blue. And it's okay if you see the words over it. I'm gonna do some baby blue there. Maybe throw in some black right here. Maybe even paint it over with the black. And then go back to my white. Notice I'm not really cleaning my brush much because I want the mixtures and I want the richness and the overlapping of colors. Again, our life is not black and white, right? And you know, I know there's a lot of like play on words with everything I've been doing, but it really is all related when you think about it. There is no straightforward path for us. There is no recipe. There's no rules. You know, as we go, life changes daily. So I'm just gonna keep going with it. And And let's see what we come up with. Just gonna keep on keeping on. Doesn't this already look so beautiful? I like it. I hope yours is coming out great too. You know, covering up some of my words. Some areas are going to be more rich than others. I'm actually going to go in all directions. You know, we're not focusing on how the brush stroke so much, so it doesn't matter that it's up and down and zigzag and all around. Follow your instinct. If you want to do up and down, do up and down. If you want to do circles, do circles. You know, follow whatever your mind is telling you to do. It's the only way that you can enjoy what you're doing, and it's the only way that you can really love your canvas. At the end of the day, you need to love it, not me, because I know I will love mine, but you need to love yours. Some of the things I like to do is then take my paintbrush and, you know, you'll see really soon I'm going to do some really cool things with it. I'm going to make designs and gonna add a little bit more white. You see what's happening already? It's abstract, right? It's nothing, but it's something all at once. And then I'm going to do this. I'm going to take the edge of one of my small paintbrushes and I'm going to do some craziness here and do some craziness there. Do some zigzagging, you know. Whatever your mind tells you, just do it. Go for it, you know. And then, something I like to do, I normally take my finger here, put a little bit of paint, and I don't know, I like dots. Dots. We dot it up, dot, 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 dot. So we're back, and this is going to be a short video, but just showing you a little bit more of how we can add textures with things found around the house, credit cards, sponges, you know, oil pastel sticks, stamps. So again, just add a little bit more texture before we leave. You know, I don't want to waste all this goody paint either. So you can go outside, find some sticks, some leaves, you know, pine cones. All of these things are great to make, you know, awesome layers and textures. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just dip my club stamp and just stamp away. You know, like I said, you can use your paintbrush to paint on it. And that's another way of putting paint on your stamp. So I'm just gonna go ahead, paint parts of it black, parts of it blue, maybe add some white in there somehow. And just turn it around. Ooh, look at that. You know, just, again, layers. Layers are so amazing. There's nothing more amazing than a beautiful layer canvas, especially for the final design. You know, remember we said don't forget our edges. Probably just want to go like this. And one of the things I like doing is grabbing a credit card, or if you have one of these tools, and just swipe. Because again, money's a factor. I just threw that in there, but that wasn't the whole purpose behind the credit card. It's just something to tease. Oh, look at that. Let's make it a little bit more on the white side, why don't we? So a little bit more white. White, white, white. White, white.